together this evening and for the freedoms that we enjoy, which allow us to gather and to discuss and to make decisions related to this city that we live in. We ask you to bless us with thy spirit this evening to guide our discussion and help us to make wise decisions. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
If you'll stand with me and repeat the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I need approval for tonight's meeting agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting's agenda as written.
I will second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. We appreciate anybody here. We appreciate any kids who are here. I don't see, well, there's a couple. Yeah, very good. We welcome you here. Oh, behind. Okay. Oh my, there we go. Now we want you to know that you're invited to come up here and sit with us on the rostrum if you would like to. There's candy up here. So it's your choice. You're welcome to do it if you would like to. So just come right on up. We've had lots of kids come up. So yeah, okay. But Candy usually drives them up. And he just left the meeting, so I scared him off.
I'll run for it.
Yeah. If you have interest in making a public comment, we give you 3 minutes to be able to make a statement to the City Council. We welcome anybody who would like to do that. There's a form that's to be filled out. If you'd get that form to Kim, it's out in the foyer, and we'd be more than happy to give you an opportunity to be able to spend a few moments with the City Council. It's not an opportunity for a dialogue. It's not an opportunity for a situation where there's back and forth or solutions made, but it's just a matter for you to give opportunity for a statement and to the City Council, and you're certainly welcome to do that. We welcome it. Okay, we don't have any ceremonial things tonight, so we'll go right to the public comment. I'll just take them as they were handed to me. Karen Anderson. And I'll give you when you've got a minute. I'll hold my finger up and then let you know when time's up. So
Which finger are you going to hold up?
this one right here. Thanks, Logan.
I was kind of hoping to be at the end of this. This is my first meeting to ever have reason to come to City Council. I have just kind of 2 points that I'd like to make. I'm addressing the chicken issue. We moved to Springville multiple years ago because my grandchildren were here. And my husband and I, both very suburban raising, but I was a kindergarten teacher, and for 25 years I raised chickens. I hatched chickens in my classroom, and then when they were about 4 weeks old, I gave them away to people. And in my heart, I thought, well, someday I will get to keep chickens. And indeed, we moved to Springville. We moved to a place, we're out on Canyon Road, practically into the canyon. And there are no neighbors around us. And we called in, and Greg said, well, we can have 1 cow and 1 horse, neither of which interested me at all, or we could have 12 chickens. And so we almost immediately got a coop ready, and we started with our 12 chickens. When I first heard that maybe that would change and it would be 6 chickens, filled my heart with great sorrow, because we name our chickens like we know them, because it seemed like a good idea at the time. And because I'm doing this with my grandchildren. We have a big garden, and we have a big coop, and it's because I want my kids or my grandbabies to know where our food comes from. So it's much more, I don't think anybody raises chickens because it's financially a great idea. Chickens, every time you go to IFA and buy more stuff for them, it raises the cost. At any rate, I feel like as a community, we ought to be encouraging people to keep chickens. Not too long ago, we were paying exorbitant prices for eggs. And I mean, you hope that those eggs come from great places. But when you raise your own chickens and you feed your own chickens and you get your own eggs, then you know the supply chain. and you take care of your chickens, and so they don't get sick. I'm not a pet person. I don't know. I can't say anything about dogs and cats, and I feel like we need to make the process easier and not more difficult. We need to make sure that we tread as lightly as governing people as possible on people's individual lives. My little flock feeds 3 families, my 2 children's families and us and my mom and dad who are aging out. And like the government doesn't need to know that. But I feel like we start saying you can have this and you can have that, and we don't know what people's needs are, and it's not really our business. And so I encourage you to tread lightly and to be as encouraging as possible, because there may come a day that we are really going to need every chicken and egg producing group in our town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brandon Ashby.
Hi, good to see you guys again. I appreciate the opportunity to speak again. And I also want to acknowledge some of the changes that were made after the last meeting, that you guys took things into consideration that we had concern, and I appreciate that, namely getting rid of the permitting. I don't see that in the current version. It shouldn't be in there, but I appreciate that that's gone. Again, talking about the chickens. So I have just a few things that I wanted to address real quickly. I also really like the graduated number of chickens that people can have. That was something that you guys talked about previously and that I really support. I do think that it should probably start at 6, not 4. And the reason why is because anybody with a lot so small, most people aren't going to, with a lot that small for 4, as currently written, they're just not, most people aren't even going to be able to have chickens in the first place because of the setbacks and the laws that are already in place. And so I would recommend that we just start at 6. And the reason for that is 4 eggs doesn't take care of a family. I usually have 3 eggs every morning myself, and that would leave my wife and kids with next to nothing. So, and of course that doesn't really apply to me because I'm in a different zone and I can have more chickens. But the other thing I'd like to say is I think the number should probably go a little bit higher than 12, 14, or 16 would be good for people with big lots, because we're really not, we've been keeping lots of chickens for many years. We've never had a single complaint. We have not been breaking the laws in the number of birds or anything else, but really people need to be able to take care of their family's needs. And I know I mentioned last time that we had basically 11 people at home, and again, 12 eggs doesn't take care of that. We went through 3.5 dozen eggs in 2 days with our kids at one point. We don't have that many kids at home anymore, but you know, it can be really expensive, and I still think that number should go a little higher for bigger lots.
1 minute.
Thank you. And then the other thing is, I don't think we should limit people from selling eggs, because anybody who is regulated to 6 birds, 12 birds, they're probably not going to have enough eggs to sell in the first place. If they do have a few extra, they should be able to share those and maybe supplement what they have to pay in the wintertime when they're not getting enough eggs. So that would be good. Last point I wanted to make is, it talks about 50 pounds of manure from 6 birds in a month. And being somebody who's had chickens for a long time, that is completely false. You might get 50 pounds of manure from 12 birds in 4 to 6 months. So if you're gonna put that stuff in there, just make sure it's accurate. And so I object to that just because it's not accurate.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Levi Ellis. No? Okay, we'll enter his comments here for the record. Michael Anderson.
Thank you for this time. As a new father, I find myself thinking heavily about the future. And with recent events like the grocery spikes during COVID and the invasion of Iran, I worry a lot about the future that this one is going to face here. I implore you, as an earlier citizen did, that the government which governs least governs best, and that we might be coming up for a time where we bring back victory gardens and the posters of Uncle Sam saying, "Uncle Sam wants you to have chickens." The law that you're going to be voting on today, the amendment proposed has a lot of errors in it, and voting yes on it is going to swap the errors from the current code for new errors that are going to come back to the City Council in the future. There are problems with what happens in the R115 zone. There are problems with what happens when there are adjoining lots and how many chickens are allowed on those. There are problems with the wording that removes chickens from all duplexes, where people in duplexes currently have the ability to have 6 chickens. There are problems with the wording that says that the primary use of the lot must be a single family home, which means if someone purchases a lot in a residential zone that does not have a home on it, are they allowed to keep chickens on the lot? I'm sure other members of the citizens will go over these problems in more detail, but vote no on this amendment. Go back to the writing room and try again.
Thank you. Emily Anderson.
Oh, I have a paper to hand out. It's just, so I withdrew the current proposal, and I'm sure you guys are aware that I might just prefer a law that said chickens are allowed and no more. But these are some things that I think would make this specific law better. In the first sentence, or paragraph 1, I don't think we need all of those words, and I don't think that that's the message that I want the city government to be sending. I think it would be prudent to allow for other fowl instead of chickens. Some people, we learned, are allergic to chicken eggs, and having ducks is going to make a similar impact, but might change a family and let them have eggs they can't get otherwise. And quail are kind of a trend right now. Not one I'm interested in, but I think other people can be. I would like to propose 2 different things. I put a separate proposal for the table of hens. The math doesn't line up as I wanted it to, but that proposal just goes a little bit higher, as another citizen was recommending. Or another suggestion would be to just say every 1,000 square feet you can add 1 chicken on. Just that's a way to make it even and allow more chickens for more space without needing to make the math fit. For paragraph 4, I currently believe that the law allows roosters for large lots, and I think that should stay. But I also think there are other ways that you can allow for someone who accidentally gets a rooster and might have an emotional attachment for a few weeks, or someone who wants to get a rooster to be able to hatch their own eggs from their own chickens. And I think allowing them on larger lots or for small periods of time would be beneficial to the citizens of Springville.
1 minute.
Okay. So, and paragraph 8, I don't think we should say we need to hide our chickens. I think some people, their chickens are their prettiest part of their lot, and I've told you before, I love seeing kids enjoy our chickens, which they can from our backyard because it's next to a park. I just wanted to thank you all. I know that you guys have been listening to not just me, but others, and thanks for taking your job seriously.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Robert McClellan.
I was notified about an hour ago by my neighbors that they're having a chicken thing. So
Well, you're not plugged in. We've been getting lots of emails, so.
I haven't, and it's first I've heard of it. And we do have chickens. And one of the points I want to make is that we have a chicken bowl that our family gathers the waste from our scraps, food scraps. We get between 5 and 10 pounds of scraps a day we feed our chickens. Now I have two other families, a son and a daughter that live here. Let's just say 5 pounds a day at 365 days a year. That's almost a ton of food waste that would have been going to the landfill. Now there's also, if you'll look up, there's a city in Belgium, and you can look up on the internet, gave 3 chickens to anybody who wanted them in their city. And 6,000 chickens were given out in their city. And their landfill waste went down by 100 tons that first month. And so there's some more advantages besides just us having wonderful eggs, and our kids love to raise the chickens. You know, we're reducing landfill, we're recycling on a fun level. And so I would like you to take that into consideration, that actually chickens benefit our city. It's not really a minus there. And I would encourage you to look it up. I'm not sure. I haven't read the new ordinance. I have no idea what it says. So I'm just talking about some of the good things about chickens. I have an autistic son, or not a son, he's a grandson who is 6 years old. He doesn't like to be touched very much, but he will hold his favorite chicken and carry that chicken around. I would hate to see other children that are similar lose those abilities. And I don't know what the ordinance says, but I'm just saying that, you know, it is nice. I want you to consider all the good things. And I have no idea why anybody would complain. There must have been complaints because you're bringing up a new ordinance. So I will have to watch and see how you rule, but I would ask you to increase the number of chickens. I think that would be good. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chad Kidder.
Hey, good afternoon, y'all. I was just hoping that someone could let me know if we're actually doing anything with 1200 West, because every email I've sent over the last 4 months has pretty much been ignored by the city, asking to know what's going on because people in the neighborhood want to know. And that include, you know, my recent one this last week. At least I got a response saying, no, there's no city blacklist I'm on. But I haven't heard from Stacy or anyone else with any information about what's going on there on either the new part or how long the city's going to let the old part be dilapidated while they try to work with the contractor to make it work better, you know, to get it fixed, because it's not building bridges. It's not endearing the city at all to people in the neighborhood there the way it's been trashed.
Okay, thank you. Royal Peterson.
Hi, Springville City Council. It's nice to meet you. Springville resident for about 10 years. My wife and I and our 6 kids. We have chickens. We have pretty close, and we love our chickens. They're great. We take the manure a couple times a year. We put it into the garden. We take our scraps. We feed it to our birds. Never had any complaints. We love them. Very pro chicken. And I recognize that we're not removing chicken ordinance, but we are changing it. I wanted to throw some suggestions out there, as I may be too late, but it's never too late. So, one, I think we should remove the selling limitation. Reason being, as already stated by a good brother here, was the chicken amounts we're talking 6, 8, 4. That is not enough eggs to sell in any type of true commercial way. We're talking a dozen eggs once or twice a month, maybe, that your child sells to neighbors. So I think that would be an arduous and silly regulation. Again, just showing the government that governs least governs best, and something so nitpicky on such a small number of birds, very irrelevant. I wouldn't include a selling limitation when you're talking such a small number of chickens. Also, I recognize the new law would remove the ability of current families who do have 6 chickens, that would be removed for your smaller lots. To me, that just smacks of some type of complaint, which means there's neighbors that aren't getting along over something silly as chickens. I suggest that should be pushed down to the neighbors. People should be able to be good neighbors with their neighbors and figure things out without relying to the strong arm of the city or coercion or the government because they can't get along with their neighbors. That's kind of what that sounds like to me. Again, I don't know, but it's just my gut. And then last, this was also brought up, but food distribution or distributed food is resilient food supply. And in today's world, a resilient food supply is just a benefit for the community, for individuals, all the way around. I think we all recognize that, which is why we're a pro-chicken city in the first place. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Emily Ashby.
Good evening. I'm probably going to repeat a lot of what's been said. I'm going to read fast so I can get through it. After reviewing as many sides as I can to the chicken issues, this is what I've been able to come to. And I feel that city intervention is unnecessary because existing nuisance laws are sufficient to manage any issues regarding odor, sanitation, or noise, just as we do with dogs and cats. Chickens do not bark, nor do they have rabies or sharp teeth. Chickens provide valuable sustainable food and natural pest control, and residents should have the liberty to raise their own food on their own property without excessive red tape and micromanagement. The people interested in raising chickens are generally responsible individuals who will research and manage them properly. Making strict blanket city regulations would be excessive in that case. As I've stated in posts and emails, I think the graduated chicken scale is very reasonable, but starting with 4 is not reasonable. That's barely enough for breakfast for 2 people. You'll be making changes on citizens that have been hosting 6 birds already. Those 2 extra birds aren't going to create any issues. If the lot is big enough to accommodate 4 birds, there is 0 difference to accommodating 6 birds. My vote is to start your scale with 6 birds and graduate up to at least 14, if not more. The same goes for duplexes and twin homes. If their yard accommodates the setback provisions already set by the laws, then let them have their birds too. We don't much care what other cities are doing. We are Springville and have been trying to maintain the tone of a small town. We don't need to match others for that to happen. We can set our own parameters. An overly complex permitting process or strict limit on bird numbers often discourages responsible people, while irresponsible people will likely ignore the rules either way. So we'd like to try to encourage people that are responsible and that are wanting to follow the rules and have the chickens. As homeowners, residents should have the right to use their property for productive hobbies such as gardening or keeping small livestock, provided it does not harm others. Similar to gardening, keeping chickens is a traditional personal activity that improves the quality of people's lives. Chicken ownership allows residents to be more self-sufficient, providing fresh, healthy eggs and reducing reliance on industrial long-distance food supply chains.
1 minute.
Okay. In uncertain economic times, as well as nationwide culling, raising a small sustainable flock is a proactive way for families to provide for themselves. As far as egg sales, the rules that are already in place, with the hens being limited, already curbs the amount of eggs any one resident could potentially sell. But in the months when production is really high, selling some excess eggs to a neighbor can help round out and offset costs for when there's very little to no egg production in the dark months. Not much different than a lemonade stand or fresh baked bread. The R115 animal keeping is still unclear from the packet proposal versus what's in the codes. Just so you guys know that. There's been a lot of questions on that online and socially. So I would suggest that this gets tabled for a little while and reworked. Thank you.
Thank you. One of my neighbors, Heather Hill.
I just want to say something about your YouTube website, and that it could use some points at different topics that is used, because I like to listen to those, and I'm like, okay, it's a half hour on this. I'd like to start at different topics. That's all I had to say.
And just to clarify, are you talking like little timestamps. Here's where this item in the agenda
Yes.
starts. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, Heather. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate everyone's comments. And while they seem like that they are not heard, they are heard. And we do appreciate the input. We're very grateful for it. So.
Did she have one?
Oh, if you've got one, sure. Yeah. Well, you're probably nicer than he was, so. You're on.
I just wanted to tell a story real fast of how chickens brought us together. Oh, my name's Jennifer Peterson. We live here in Springville. We love living in Springville. Of all the places we've lived, this is our favorite. I love the small.
So does that mean we're doing something right?
Yeah, we must be. So let's keep doing it right. We love the small town feel. We love how we can make it to all the schools, all the grocery stores on our bikes. Our kids are so independent here because they can be on their bikes and not have to be driven everywhere. It fosters great independence. When we lived in Provo, we had some chickens, and we had some neighbors call the city animal control, and they showed up at our house. And they said, we got a call about some chickens or roosters. We didn't have a rooster, but the neighbors complained. And so the, animal control showed up. Well, they didn't tell me who it was, but it was on a row of 4 townhouses that I could guess from. So I went around the corner and I knocked on the doors and I said, hey, I'm your neighbor with the chickens. Did you have a problem with the chickens? And so I think it was like the second door that I knocked on. And the neighbor said, you know what, I am so sorry. I had such a long day at work and I was really tired and I kind of heard them squawking and I just got really irritated and I didn't know what to do. So they called the animal control and I said, I am so sorry. Sometimes they are loud, but I would love to share my eggs with you. And so I brought a dozen eggs as kind of a reconciliation and I made a friend. And so then it started bringing the neighbors together and they didn't mind the chickens after that. We shared the eggs and we had a better relationship with our neighbors because of having chickens. And I thought that was important because that relationship would not have happened otherwise. Now, we have 6 kids. We have chickens in our backyard. I make eggs all the time. During the egg shortage, we were saving money big time on eggs. We only have enough to support a few meals. We do have to buy this pack of 60 from Sam's Club or Costco, and we supplement with that, especially during the winter when our egg production is about half. But I use about a dozen eggs a day or per meal, and making tacos or burritos or whatever we make. But if we weren't able to do that on our own, I don't know. It decreases the amount of family togetherness you can have, of teaching your kids resilience, the outdoors, the gardening, where your food comes from, like they were talking about food distribution. So I don't know, I just wanted to share all that. So thanks for being here.
Very good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I need a motion for the consent agenda.
I move
I'm-
to let Mogan go.
All right, I motion that we approve the consent agenda as written.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, Laura, you're on for the chicken ordinance.
I don't know where you put it.
It's the one labeled water pressurized irrigation.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm happy to be here. Excited to give you my presentation on the amendments to our chicken ordinance. And I'm gonna make it brief because I feel like you've had the history and the background with the work session that you had, so stop me if you have any questions. Why is this before you right now? Questions were raised regarding their interpretation of the current ordinance. There's been confusion regarding the lots larger than 20,000 square feet. And council has directed staff, me, thank you, to review the legislative intent and meaning to clarify the number of hens allowed. So what's the appropriate number? Across Utah County, most cities allow 4 to 6 hens on standard residential lots. And the reasons are for the adequate egg production for a family, minimal odor if properly maintained. All the cities I researched do not allow roosters, so it's quiet. Manageable manure output, and rarely generates complaints. The Utah County comparison are there, right there. The most of those cities that are allowed are 12, with some of them starting at 4. I'd like to say that as staff, we are completely fine with increasing that to 6 and leaving it as 6 as it is now. The 4 was just put in there as a scale range because that was what was asked for. So there was no really like, we got to have 4 there. So 6 is great, and I would probably recommend changing that. Here's our proposed amendment. So right now, the smaller lots we proposed 4, but I would say change that to 6 as well. And then it graduates up to lots greater than 16,000 can have 12. Now I should point out these lots are all residential lots in Springville. And then there's the lots that are R115 and A1, and those don't apply to this section. Those are agricultural lots that fall under an animal keeping ordinance. So they're also allowed their chickens.
Laura, can I interrupt for just a second? On the R115 lots, those aren't all in ag zone, are they?
So
R115?
R115 lot, to have animal keeping, you need a minimum of 20,000 square feet. That's where the 20,000 number got put in and got the confusion started. But and then for each additional 10,000 square feet of lot area, you're granted an additional animal unit, which breaks down to be 12 birds.
Right, but maybe I misstated my question.
Okay.
It's so there's A1, which is agriculture, and there's R115 that's causing the confusion, I think, from what I understand. But there's A1, which is agriculture, and that's under a whole different ordinance. And then there's R115, which is a residential zone, but with larger lot sizes and things like that. So I just want to make sure that I understand correctly that R115 is not agriculture, it's residential, it's just big lots. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And how many R115 zones do we have in the city?
Can we pull up the zone map? Is that easy to grab onto right now? Because I took a look at it today. Yeah, very good.
So these lighter green areas, so up the canyon, this area that's not developed, obviously, further around here. So there's not many, but there are places where residents have proposed to change their zones to R115 to allow for animal keeping within the city. And we have done that, but they've had to prove that they can meet those R115 minimum lot standards. Not everybody can.
Sure.
So why R115 as opposed to R120?
R115 used to be called RA15, and we thought we'd abbreviate it. That's probably also caused confusion.
What's your question?
So we have zones that are 20,000 square foot lots, don't we?
No.
No.
So it's 15
Let me go. Oops, sorry.
minimum?
Is the largest. So let's clarify,
I should
because
say
I
the
just
largest.
want to clarify the way Laura said that, make sure we're all on the same page with regard to that. So animal units or animal keeping is allowed on lots larger than 20,000 square feet in the R115 and A1 zones.
Right. So if we look at the zone map, those animal keeping rights under the ordinance are in this area in the far east of Springville and these other couple of smaller areas around town.
And then the A1,
Correct?
which are the darker green.
Right. The A1s are ag. Right. There's a little patch of ag there where Diamond's greenhouse is, and then the regular farms out west.
Right.
So those are the R115 zones.
So that's the point of clarification I wanted to get to is hen keeping is allowed in all residential zones. So even in R115, if you have a 15,000 square foot lot, you would not qualify for animal keeping. It's not large enough. That you can have hens for egg production. If you have a 20,000 square foot lot, you can have hens for egg production and potentially animal keeping units.
But only in the R115.
Correct.
Not in 10, not in 8, not in these low or
Well, you would
the
still
lower
have-
size lot.
Yeah, you don't get
zones.
animal keeping in larger lots, only in R115 and I1 under the current ordinance.
Right, okay. I just wanted to make that clear.
And the units, the animal units, explain the animal units.
So Laura was explaining those correctly. I'm happy to do that, and I'm doing it from memory if she's going to pull it up. But you have to have 10,000 square feet of your lot dedicated to the animal unit for each 10,000. Now you have to be bigger than 20,000. For every 10,000 you keep, you get one animal unit, and on the screen there are the different animals you can keep in different quantities based upon that animal unit. Now, this language has been in the code for decades at this point with no change. I chased it back to the 1970s, and it was earlier than that. So that's just been there forever.
And these are just for A1 and R115, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
There's the land use mentioned.
Matrix. So you'll see here it says chickens for egg production. See section 37801, that's animal control. And then you have your animal keeping, and it's only permitted in the A1, which is a residential zone, just it requires 5 acres. And the R115. The AS is a new one, I'm not sure.
The purpose for the AS is state law changed with respect to where you can have certain plants for marijuana and other type things, and so the AS is the only area that you can have that in our city, and state law requires us to have that for CBC productions and stuff like that.
Thank you, because I forgot what that was. So anyway.
So I'm trying to get at, so you have an R115, let's say you have a 40,000 square foot lot.
Correct.
Roughly close to an acre. What does that give you? How many chickens?
24.
Okay.
Well, it's 24 for the animal units. Well, it depends on how big the house and the lawn is, right? So at 40,000, for each 10,000 square feet you have dedicated to animals, you can have 12 chickens. But you can also have chickens for egg production. So under the ordinance you're considering right now, it'd actually be 24 or 36 plus 12 total chickens. But you could also have a cow, a horse, and 12 chickens plus 12 chickens for egg production. So they're two whole separate sections of the code, but they both
That's
apply.
where the confusion is there.
Yeah, why is there two
One's zoning
separate?
and one's animal control.
But I guess to the point of number of people and also maybe me, it is a little confusing.
Yeah, and again, this one's been there for a long time. If we want to kind of lose that small town feel and take away the agricultural production component of it, that's what's in Title 11 that's not being touched tonight. The only thing that is being proposed are changes to the egg production by hens in Title 3.
So could you take out of Title, is it 11? Chickens entirely and deal with it on a separate
On a
ordinance
separate ordinance.
entirely, based on whatever lot size or?
Yeah, that's what it is right now.
No, you've got a section here where you've got,
I think what you're
you
saying
understand what I'm
is,
saying?
could you get rid of what's in Title 11, just do it in Title 3, and you could. I mean, there's a number of different ways you can do it. The reason I think why there is is just the history of it all. At one point, chickens were not allowed everywhere. It was just Title 11, and then I think it was around 2014 or whatever, that it was then allowed in every residential zone. To make it simple and easy to do at that time, it was added in Title 3, and we could just combine them all in Title 3 or combine them all in Title 11. It's whatever you want to do.
I just think it's confusing.
To have it in two separate, I would prefer a whole new ordinance written using aspects from Title 11 and Title 3.
Yeah, you could
or
do that.
Chapter 3, whatever it is.
I think that makes clear that either you are adding two things or you have one thing I have my animal keeping units and I have my residential units. Are we adding these together or are they separate?
Yeah, and again, for the only animals that this really applies to is chickens, because the R115 considered a larger residential lot, and then the agricultural, that's where all the animal keeping was originally put for a long, long time. And so this Title III was added just to allow others to do chicken keeping. And a few other, I mean, there's some other things that are allowed in Title III when it comes to animals as well, but it's not as inclusive or not as expansive as what you see in R115 and agricultural. But you could definitely take it out of out of Title 11, just put it in Title III, or vice versa. So there is a way you could just put it all the same.
If we did put it all the same, I think it would be important to still have some distinctions between the R115 and other residential zones, where the R115 tends to be located in areas where a greater number of animals is more conducive to the use than it would be in other residential zones, and still keeping that distinction there, I think would be good.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure where I left off.
Sorry, Laura.
Sorry, I butted in too soon.
I think just going back to it now, thinking through Title III, one of the reasons why it was put in Title III in addition to Title 11 is Title III deals with other animals that are allowed across the board, like bees, dogs, cats, those type of things. And so it was one of those we're trying to say, okay, this is for everybody in Title III.
Complaint, you're not going to call the zoning department to complain about chickens. We're going to refer you to animal control. So it makes a lot of sense.
Where the enforcement
of where it's at. They're the ones that are going to go out and inspect. And honestly, I think that's only when it's complaint driven. We don't go knocking doors to ask if you have chickens or not, and are you selling eggs? It's just not happened. But did we get through the background? We
Sorry.
did. I think that's where we went awry, right?
I think that's where we are.
Yeah, I think you were on. I think you were on that
Prior
page.
to 2014, which is our
There we
current
go.
ordinance, chickens were only permitted in the A1 and R115 zones. That was the only place you could have them. And that required a minimum 20,000 square feet. Under the animal unit section that we just discussed. And it was designed for agricultural livestock uses. You could have roosters in those zones because of livestock. Source of confusion was the animal keeping as defined, and we just discussed that, so I won't go through that again. The separate section in Title III regulates chickens for egg production, but both reference chickens, so that's confusing. Could be misread to allow more hens in non-agricultural zones, and that was not the intent of the 2014 ordinance, as Troy probably remembers. This is the current ordinance, the highlighted part that's kind of where I honed in on where the confusion was being caught. So I won't go into that a lot. It's actually, these are, we went through that. Sorry. We jumped ahead, now we'll go back. So what is the appropriate number? And here we are. So again, I feel like 6 chickens has worked. Zoning department hasn't had any complaints on that. I have no problem with allowing more chickens. I think they're great. Some of those pictures in these, the one on your cover page of your report is my neighbor's chickens in my yard. I've actually named my neighbor's chickens. That's Chicken Willie, Nelson, and Hey Hey. They both have very unique crows. They're both roosters. And they like to bring their hens with them and see my yard, which is great, eat my bugs, but they do leave quite the mess on my driveway.
And you live where?
Santaquin, downtown, like a plat A of what Springville would be, so. So what is this amendment doing? It's clarifying the original intent. It's trying to remove ambiguity between the code sections, slightly increases allowances for larger lots, improves enforceability because there's more clear numbers to apply to the lots, and maintains residential character. It does not allow roosters. It does not convert residential areas into agricultural zones, and it does not reintroduce a permit requirement. We didn't really talk about that, but we're not proposing that. Does not significantly change any existing policy. So staff's recommendation is to adopt the ordinance. I think I missed a slide somewhere in there, but regarding the duplexes and twin homes. That, I think, was just to make it clear that it's single-family zones. We're fine with it being a duplex or twin home. The language is already there, so we can leave it. If so be it, there's no heartburn on that one. And I do have an ordinance prepared that has the changes to the 4 to the 6 and the leaving the duplex and twin home, just so you're aware, if you want to make that motion. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, questions for Laura.
Is this your favorite subject? Sorry. It's become my favorite subject the last couple weeks. So.
When I'm done here, so.
Yeah.
Maybe Popeyes.
Am I okay to just jump into things,
Please.
Mayor? Okay. Yep. I do like the idea of making sure that we still include duplexes and twin homes. You know, maybe selfishly because I live in a duplex, but I also just don't think that it would create a lot of problems to still include those. If we want to create more kind of gentle density throughout the city, we want people to be able to live in places like duplexes and twin homes that don't dramatically change the character of neighborhoods, but they should still get to kind of live the same quality of life that somebody in a single-family detached house does. If they are, a lot of them are rentals, like the place that I live. I rent a place. I would just negotiate the placement of a coop or the number of chickens with my landlord as anybody else in a duplex probably would.
Logan, do you mind if I ask a question based on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Have we had any enforcement issues with duplexes and townhomes as far as a shared space and one person wanting to put in chickens or whatever and the other one not wanting that and there being a dispute?
I had the chief look up information about code enforcement with regard to it, but we did not go to that level of detail. We can tell you the last 2 years, we're doing about 50 code complaints per year. 70+% of our homes are single-family detached, so there's probably some in duplexes, but there's not going to be a lot.
Yeah, I was looking through our city code to kind of see if there were rules about chickens specifically related to duplexes, or even cats and dogs that are defined as pets versus chickens, but couldn't really find a lot there.
So if we want to change some of the numbers or some of this wording, we would send that back to you and you would bring it back to us again? Or what?
Yeah, what we'll do is just ask her any questions that you've got of Laura, and then I'm going to go through and ask individually how you feel, and you can say, here's kind of what I'm thinking about duplexes, and here's what I'm thinking about, and so that we can kind of come to a consensus. And if it's different than what Laura's proposed in the ordinance, we'll charge John and Laura to go back and write the ordinance according to, okay, John, write the ordinance according to what we're thinking. Does that sound right?
It has to be in front of the council in writing for adoption. If the changes are minor, like I think she just mentioned, she's got a prepared version with duplex and twin homes in the ordinance. So if they're minor changes, we may be able to prepare them tonight. But depending on where that consensus is, we may need to go redraft some things and bring it back in the future.
So we could do it tonight, or we could do it whatever, but we'll come to a consensus tonight, basically what we're looking for. So
I did have another question too, and is there a reason we would not write something like small fowl instead of chickens?
Yeah.
Some people do keep ducks for egg production or quail for egg production.
The ordinance was intended for chickens, so.
Yeah.
And I would jump in there, since I wrote the original ordinance. I mean, at the time, the request was solely for for chickens, hens for egg production was what the request was repeatedly. You'll remember from the presentation last time on the history that there were repeated requests for that from citizens, which the council denied for 3 years and then passed in 2014. So at that time, there just simply was no discussion about animals other than chickens.
Okay, other questions for Laura?
So
Mindy?
with the proposed amendment and the max of you have 12 up there, which I would be okay if that needed to be raised just a few more chickens. I'm okay with that. The selling part was another issue that I thought, well, I don't know if we need to bring up a selling issue if they are obeying the max hens. So I don't know, is that just for enforcement purposes, or do we even need to have that in
I believe
there?
the intent was not to make a business out of it, to keep it for your own personal uses. I don't think the city's going out looking for people that are selling eggs
Yeah.
to penalize them for that.
So do we even need to have it in
A lot of the business laws
there?
have changed since 2014 as well, right? With
That's-
regard to home occupations.
You
So
do have home occupations. If you wanted to make a business out of it, you could apply
But
for
the
a home
max-
occupation permit and we'll let you to sell your eggs. And then we'll charge you taxes.
But the max would dictate that, right? I mean, like it's
Yes.
stated, it wouldn't be.
You couldn't sell
Yeah,
it to
you
make
couldn't
money.
You wouldn't have enough to sell.
So is that just an extra?
It's been
Line
in there since it
enforcement?
was adopted.
Okay.
I'm not changing it. It hasn't been a problem. One of those, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But if you want to change it, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'd say we get rid of that.
Well,
my
I'm not
opinion.
too sure. My personal,
About the selling of 12
yeah,
eggs?
well, I'm just talking overall, you're running a business, and you need to, I think, separate personal use as opposed to business use. And when you start to get into the business side, I think it changes the dynamics much differently, is my opinion. And people are going to say, well, gee, for 12 chickens, what's that going to do? I could care less if they share them with the neighbors and everybody enjoys those sort of things, but I hesitate getting involved in, and whether it's eggs or anything else, I think you have a business that you just have to be careful differentiating between the two. If not, where do you draw the line? Where do you actually say you're running a business or not running a business? So anyway, you can split the hairs on all kinds of things, but it's just one of those issues that I personally think there's a pretty good division line on. That's my opinion. So,
But I mean, are there limitations on like lemonade stands and things of that nature? Like, is that considered a business?
there are, and again, many of those laws have been relaxed substantially over the last decade or so. So a child doing a lemonade stand is technically not a business, but if you were to open a lemonade stand, there are business rules associated with that.
Yeah.
okay, other questions for Laura? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll just go through and just kind of give your opinions on what Laura has proposed. And if you want to change anything in that, or you want to add something or subtract from it, then let's just talk about it and we can kind of come to a consensus, because it's going to be kind of messy as we go through this. But at least I think we'll come to some agreement or something. And again, don't feel the pressure that something has to be done tonight. If you say, you know what, I really want to think about it, I'm totally okay with saying we're going to table this for another 2 weeks or a month and have some more thought about it. I think we're certainly entitled. We're not under pressure to do something tonight, so it's not like a development that has to go through. So Jake, I'll start with you.
Would concern come in, I mean, for selling eggs, like in the A1 or R115, where there are a lot more chickens? Is that where we're saying we wouldn't want to sell? I don't see an issue with a kid selling from 12 chickens, you know.
Troy, can you help us with that? Or John?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, again, you're splitting hairs a little bit, but I think if you were utilizing the Title 3 chickens there, this clause in subsection is it 6? that no sale or income resulting from the chickens, those should not be sold even if you were in an R115 or A1 lot, but chickens on the lot under animal keeping could be sold.
Yes, I mean, you still have to go through a process to have a business license and that sort of thing if you need one, depending on
Chickens and
where it
eggs,
is.
both,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the selling of the eggs. I don't see what the issue is there, but we can talk about that more. I'm glad that the permitting has been removed. The more I thought about that, the more I'm like, I mean, I've got chickens too. It'd be kind of annoying to have to do that personally, but and I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'm good with it being 12. I wouldn't mind it being more. I wouldn't mind seeing Springville be on somebody else's list as higher than everybody else. I like that actually. So I don't know. I don't think. I mean, maybe 18 for me, something like that would be a max. But
in answer to your question dealing with income, I don't know of any citation or anything that's come through the courts that have been, hey, these guys have been selling eggs or anything like that I'm aware of.
But is having that ever like stopped something bad from happening?
I don't know, Chief. Do you have any information on that? Okay.
If we've never had a citation, but we've never had.
And I'm not saying there hasn't. I just haven't been made aware of one.
Okay. Yeah. That's all I've got for now.
Okay, thank you.
Chapter 1.
Karen?
I think I agree with Laura that we don't need to go down to 4 from 6. The minimum of 6 is sufficient.
6 being the minimum.
6 being the minimum, yeah. And I think there's more that we can do to line up 11 and 8, or at least make it more clear what applies where and how many total chickens you're allowed under either, whether you're adding or not adding things together. And as far as selling them goes, we have a business license chapter, and if somebody wants chickens because they love chickens but they hate eating the eggs and they want to just raise chickens and sell eggs, I'm not too concerned that that's going to have a detrimental impact on the neighborhood. That tends to be more of a, where I see somebody even in my own neighborhood posting on the page for the neighborhood saying, does anybody want to sell me some eggs? I'd love to buy some eggs. And so to me, as long as we keep it smaller scale, it's more of a cooperative effort. You sell me eggs, I sell you blackberry jam.
So you're talking about business? I heard you say something about a business license.
Yeah, we have a business license code, so we can rely on that to facilitate how that works. But yeah, I think we just could clarify it a little bit more than what it currently is.
Okay.
Yeah.
The limits that Laura proposed, level-wise and number-wise, okay, not okay?
Take out the 4, start with 6. Other than that, I'm fine with it.
Okay, all right. Okay, Logan.
So I'm going to kind of move in order of my priority. I would bump that 4 on the smaller lots up to 6. I'm okay with the tiers of the different lots. I would remove the language excluding duplexes and twin homes. I also feel okay about allowing egg sales. I just don't see that you'd be producing enough eggs that it would become a problem. And then I'd be okay.
I just get a little clear. Are you, because both of them are okay with it, Karen's okay with it with a business license, Jake is okay with it without a business license?
I'm probably okay without a business license. I'm imagining it more like a lemonade stand. A little kid who tends his flock of 6 chickens and gets to take pride in selling his eggs to the neighbors. but that's colored by my own, my younger sister. That's what she did when I was growing up. So, I'd also be okay bumping that maximum number up a little bit on those larger lots, up from 12, maybe, I'm looking at the chart here, so from about 12,000 square feet to 16,000 square feet, as proposed, it reads 8 hens. I'd be okay going up to 10, and then above 16,000 square feet, I'd be okay going a little higher, maybe 14 or 16. And then finally, I also would be okay expanding the definition from chickens to small fowl, if it could be easily. That might be a different ordinance that we might need to do a different day, because you'd want to exclude larger things like geese or turkeys and emus.
Ostriches.
Yeah, I heard they make good eggs.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
Can I add something to mine?
No.
I forgot to tell you. about duplexes.
Yes, you can. Go right ahead.
I would just like to know what kind of enforcement issues or complaints or nuisance issues we've had with duplexes and townhomes. Like, are
Anything,
there things
Chief?
that we can put in place there?
That you're aware of?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
they said they didn't
okay.
know.
Like, if there are issues and there's something that we can do to mitigate some of those issues and make it a workable thing for duplexes and townhomes, then I don't see a problem with having duplexes and townhomes.
No, can I just ask a question? You're saying townhomes and not twin homes, is that correct?
Is it townhomes or twin homes?
It's twin homes.
Twins, that one.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure because one of the sections that is not here before you tonight does talk about where the chickens need to be, and I don't see how it would meet a townhome yard, where it's just kind of a smaller yard right behind the townhome. So I just want to make sure that I was understanding.
Yep, sorry.
Okay, Logan said the same thing. You said the same thing.
Did I say twin homes or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mayor, and just
I
as
meant
you're
twin homes.
moving down maybe quickly on the business license side, just so, first off, if they're under the age of 18, they're exempt from licensure, but also home businesses with little or no impact on residential areas that are identified by resolution of home office exemptions will be exempt from licensure under this title. So we have all the stuff in place, but we would have to pass a resolution that would add kind of chickens for that if you wanted to move.
Is that the
and
state
exempt.
statute now?
That's city ordinance with
Okay.
regard to licensure.
But it is from state statute.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. That language is almost word for
Word for
word
word.
from the state.
Very good. Okay, Mike.
Personally, I don't care how many chickens are on any size lot. My biggest concern is nuisance, and if that's covered under some other ordinance, that's great. But I don't really care. I like the way we've got it tiered. I like the numbers that we're talking about, 6, and I can go with more like what Jake says. So personally, the number of chickens on a lot, it doesn't bother me as long as the nuisance doesn't show itself. If we have a 5,000 square foot lot with the number of chickens that this picture shows, I don't know how anybody can keep the nuisance down. But if the nuisance isn't there, I don't see a problem with a number. I personally think we need to do a code rewrite. I'd like to, like Karen said, I'd like to separate this out. I've always said that. It needs to be separate because it's so big. It's changed since 2014. There's more and more people that are getting chickens, and I just think we need to have a code that's on its own and clear. If there's something in the code that needs to reference another part of the overall city code, that's fine, whether it's zoning or ag or whatever it might be. But I think we need to have a chicken code, and that needs to be rewritten. As far as the duplexes and twin homes go, it's fine with me if they can meet the setback requirements that we require, away from the property line or away from neighboring residential structures. If those can be met, like I say, the number doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Okay. Mindy.
All right, so I agree with Mike. I think that we need to definitely look at our ordinances in Title III and Title 11 and make it a little bit clearer for this purpose. I am fine. I'm great with the 6 minimum. I do like to see a little bit more available for the larger lots. Like Logan said, maybe 10 for the 12,000 to 15,999, and then 16 to 18 on the 16,000 or greater. I'm grateful that you have removed duplex or twin homes. I think everybody should have the opportunity to raise chickens. And then if it's not going to be applicable, I do say that we've removed the clause about selling eggs for the current amounts that we have in here. I just don't think it'd be enough to require a business license or anything like that. It would just be for fun for kids.
Yeah, I agree with the selling thing.
If the kids are 55.
Well, we're kids at heart, right?
Now, I kind of have a question for the chief. How often are code issues, I don't even know how to phrase this really, but it's kind of like, how often are people weaponizing code enforcement? You know, actually they're mad at their neighbor and so they're going to pick on the chickens for the reason, or, you know, a car in front of their house. Do you see that often? Are you able to identify when there's issues between neighbors and it's not really a nuisance thing? It's just more people being bugged? Does that happen frequently that you're aware of?
Yeah, I tend to agree with the chief, although I'm personally aware of one area of town where 2 neighbors called the police on each other more than 200 times in a couple of years. So it happens where they're trying to use the police one way or another.
It was his fault, though. I know that.
Yeah. So the weaponization can happen, and it's a frustrating thing for us certainly to be involved in that. But I tend to agree with the chief that it's far more the other way. We tend to have people that are pretty accommodating for a long time with nuisances next to them.
Okay. So I'm going to try to take all this mishmash and kind of thin some of this out a little bit. So
I mean, just a toss. I mean, there was pretty consistent stuff about moving to 6 chickens, to putting back in duplex and twin homes, and removing the cell language. And that's something that could be done tonight. Just in the consideration of whether we go back and rewrite and harmonize kind of 11 and 3, that's something we're perfectly happy to do. I just indicate for here, it will take some time to come back, because one of the reasons we were trying to not do Title 11 is that's in the zoning code, which requires a whole different set of processes to make amendments to it, including going to the Planning Commission and public notice and other hearings and things. So we're happy to go do that just as you're deliberating up there. If we start messing with Title 11, it'll take a couple of months before it comes back to you.
Does that apply even if we're just taking things out of Title 11? You have to redo
Yes.
the whole thing?
Yeah, Title 11 and Title 14 are both governed by the land use regulation sections of the state law, and it does require us to go to Planning Commission and then back to City Council.
So if we leave Title 11 the way it is and just do a chicken ordinance rewrite using parts of Title 11, not taking it out, but using parts for clarification purposes, can we do that?
You could. I mean, tonight you could pass something with instructions for us to go take things out of Title 11 and redo Title 11. That's something we definitely could do as well. So it's just when you start to change things in Title 11, it becomes a little bit more complicated, just because it takes a little bit more time to go through the process.
But we
which
wouldn't have
isn't
to change anything.
No.
We just use what's in there and move it
Yeah.
over to a chicken ordinance or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, you have pretty good consensus on what's here before you. If you want to act on that with direction to go kind of bring more stuff into here, taking it out of Title 11, that's also fine. It'll just go through the process over the next 2 to 3 months, or you can wait for all of it to happen at once in 2 or 3 months.
Well, we're not under a time constraint, are we?
No, we certainly can do that. What my intent is to come to some fairly concrete consensus on it, for courtesy of the people that are here, to be able to say, okay, we're talking, instead of having 4 chickens, we're all in agreement, we're going to do 6, so that they don't get over. We're going to take this and do this with the twin homes, and so that they can kind of see what it is that we're driving toward. There's certainly to come back every council meeting and give us some more of these, but I think the intent is to try to help them see that we're trying to resolve this. And if we need to go back and do a rewrite, we're not under any pressure to do it in 2 weeks or a month or 6 months. We just really want to be able to, I think, give the people that are out there just an idea of what it is we're shooting for. So let me just kind of summarize this if I can. So it appears that it doesn't make a bit of difference to us whether it's a duplex, whether it's a twin home, whatever it is. I was going to sarcastically say a tent. We don't really care. But there's no restriction in relationships as long as they fulfill the setbacks and do all the things that are in the ordinance. I think Troy also mentioned, I don't think any of us are in here for 4. I think all of us for a minimum of 6, I think is where we're going. It appears that there's enough consensus in relationship to selling that as long as it's within this city ordinance, that it's run that way, that there's room to be able to have selling okay. And I think even without the business license, there's room, at least there's enough votes here to be able to do something in relationship to selling it. No permits. I didn't hear anybody talk about having any permits at all.
Well, that's because you guys shut me down.
Don't take it personally. And based upon what I'm seeing here, it looks like the numbers on the grid would go 6, and I'm just going to propose this because everybody had kind of a different number, but I scribbled down, I said less than 8,006, 8 to 12,006, 12 to 1510, and 16 greater 16. That's kind of what I heard, some numbers. Okay, all right, good. I think that's the consensus that I heard. So the instruction, I think, for this group is to let you know that's kind of where we're headed. It is not a vote. Can it change? Yes. Will it change? Probably not. But I would just stay tuned to the agenda so that you can see, because I don't know how long it takes attorneys to write things, so.
Well, if that's all there is, we could do it tonight. I mean.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yep, let's get it done.
Yeah, I think they'll have to do it in writing. There's only a couple of changes. It'll probably take them a few minutes. If you want to take the next agenda item, we can probably come back and do it.
Yep, good. And Laura, thank you for the presentation. That was very, very informational. You did a better job than Troy did when he did the briefing on us. So. All right. Okay, we need to do let's see, Jake, you're on, buddy. What's that?
Brad's gonna take it.
Brad's going to, okay.
Yeah, my stomach dropped.
I had
Yeah,
Jake
me too.
here.
I'm like, what am I doing?
Oh.
Surprise.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go, buddy. Okay, this is item number 3 in relationship to the wastewater collection master plan, IFFP/IFA.
Right, this is an exciting topic. I know you've all been waiting for this. In reality, we've been working on this for months, taking it to the Planning Commission, Utility Board, City Council work session, and now we're here today working towards adoption of this ordinance. Now, since it's been to the different commissions and boards and so forth, and since you've already seen the presentation in the work session, I've kind of consolidated it, but I'll still be going over just so the public knows the process that we go through as we make a master plan, and then stepping through to the impact fee facilities plan and the impact fee assessment. So just going through, we're talking about wastewater collection at this point right now. Master plans, we establish levels of service. For example, in a sewer pipe, open channel flow, we don't want it to be more than 75% full. We project growth, so we look at what's happening in the community, how we are today and how we're going to be in the future as far as we're growing. So we make sure that we can be ready for the things that are coming towards us. We look at what the system is. What do we have as our assets? What pipelines and so forth? Where are they? The different pumping stations or whatever in that. Then we start gathering flow data. We want to see how our system's actually working under the use every day. Sewer lines they carry more flow in the morning, and then again at lunch a little bit more, and then they taper off, and then they go back in the evening when we all come home from work, and they start going up again. From gathering that data, we develop a hydraulic model, and that model tells us how our system's working, and also when we add growth into that, how it will work with the growth coming at it. So we evaluate that system, and we might find deficiencies in the sewer system, our existing system, that we need to fix. Or we might see that pipelines that we're planning for in the future that maybe already can handle that growth, and so there's some capacity in them. And from that, we formulate capital projects. What things need to be constructed or fixed or whatever. Now, in the case of when we go forward with the impact fee facilities plan, we're talking about the facilities that are affected by growth, whether they're already in place or whether we need new facilities to accommodate that growth. So from that modeling, from looking at the system, flow metering and so forth in the wastewater collection system, we come up with the projects that we feel are needed. Some of those might be due to deficiencies, some might be due to growth. So we have these projects. Looking at the growth-related projects, then we're able to go through and figure out what the costs are based on what size of pipeline or what type of facility, and we come with a number that we can put towards that impact fee facilities plan. In this case, some of the growth-related projects we have coming at us, Lakeside, over there on the west side of the community, all these projects are affected by Lakeside. These are things that we need because of their development that are coming in with growth. We also have Buc-ee's coming, north end of town, northwest side of town. There's a project there that needs to happen. And then the 1600 South project itself, going in, there's some things that we need to do there. From those, we're able to, with the growth component, with the amount of the cost of the projects, the amount of ERUs that they're serving, we can go through and figure out what the impact fee is for that. So for wastewater collection, the impact fee that we're looking at is $1,423 per ERU. Our current wastewater collections impact fee is $11.99. So we want to look at how does that compare with the county? How do we compare? So these are the county, in the county itself. These are the different costs. As you can see that the wastewater collection at $11.99 current going to $14.23. Now treatment is in here also because in the county comparison, they're together. So it's really hard to separate treatment and collection. We're only talking about the collection tonight for the master plan and for the impact fee facilities plan and for the impact fee assessment. We'll be coming back in 2 weeks with the treatment component. We had an issue with noticing that we found an error, and so we wanted to make sure we were correct on that. So you'll see that in 2 weeks. But basically, when you add the collection and treatment together, it's about an 8.7% increase over our current impact fee. I don't know if you can see that on your screen. So we'll be going up to $3,137. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I just, well, I guess it is a question. Can you clarify for the public what an impact fee is? I mean, just tell us where the impact fee, I guess where the impact fee comes from. Because a lot of people get scared by this and they're thinking, I've got an 8.7% increase in my utility bill.
Yeah, and that's
I mean, I have heard that before, and no, that's not what it is.
That's
so if you
actually
could,
a great question.
So if you could clarify that, I'd appreciate it.
So an impact fee is a fee that a developer pays when he comes in and develops an empty parcel or parcels and puts a development in. And that, with that, then those funds are used to help offset the impact that has. So for the case of a collection system, for example, if there's a pipeline that we have and it has the capacity right now to handle the current city use, but this developer's now going to be going through that pipeline and the pipeline isn't big enough to handle it, then that impact fee helps to make a larger pipeline or a parallel pipeline that can be put in with those fees to help offset that impact. So basically, Utah state law says that the current system that we have today is paid for by ratepayers. If there's a deficiency in our current system that we have today, then the ratepayers pay for that to fix the deficiency. If development comes along and something needs to be changed to where we're adding more pipelines or adding to a sewer pumping station or something like that, the developer needs to pay that impact through development impact fees. Is that answering your question?
Thank you. Well, it answers mine, but it wasn't really my question. It was.
It's a good.
It's been presented to me.
It's a good question, though, and
why
it's
I
good to
bring it up.
explain that. So I think because of, and make sure I do this right, because of the fact that now we need to open a public hearing and so forth, I'm going to stop there, and we're simply talking about the wastewater collection master plan, the wastewater collection impact fee facilities plan, and the wastewater collection impact fee assessment. Okay?
Okay, questions for Brad? Okay, I will open this up for a public hearing for comment from anybody in the public who would like to address the council before they consider this this ordinance. Anybody from the public? Yes.
I didn't quite understand what $3,137 means. I mean, that doesn't sound very much for a pipeline. Is that per something, or is that the total cost? I'm Kent Wolf. Thanks.
Some of us know who you are, but the record doesn't. Okay, Brad, would you like to answer that for him, please?
Sure. I just used a pipeline as an example.
It's just one.
But it's any. It could be anything. It could be a facility. It could be a pipeline that's going a mile long. And so for every equivalent residential unit, we call them an ERU.
Oh.
Each house, for example, in a subdivision, say there's 12 houses, right? In
Yeah.
a subdivision, then they'd be paying 12 impact fees.
I see. So it's
With
per
yeah,
unit.
per
Yes.
unit, and that goes towards the payment of those new facilities. Yeah.
And we measure it that way because some businesses may use more, equivalent residential units, right?
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other questions from the public at all? Okay.
Seeing as there's no other public comment, I make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, I'll entertain a motion for approval or not approval.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 05-2026, adopting the 2026 Springville City Wastewater Collection System Master Plan Impact Fee Facilities Plan and Impact Fee Analysis prepared by Hanson, Allen, and Luce Incorporated, and adopting the 2025 Springville City Wastewater Collection System Master Plan, IFFP and IFA, and enacting the updated wastewater collections impact fees.
Kim has.
Can I amend that motion to be the 2025 Springville City Wastewater, or 2026, sorry,
2026.
to be the 2026 Springville City Wastewater Collection System Master Plan, IFFP and IFA.
I wondered about that when I was reading it. I thought 2025.
Okay, according to Robert Rules of Order, I think I have to vote on the amendment?
We
Or
actually.
do you want
didn't
to just
get a
kind of
second.
slug through that?
Yeah, we didn't get a second on that, so you just have
We
a
can just,
renewed motion.
can we
if
just
you get a
rerun
second.
the motion?
Well, you've got Logan having a motion.
Okay, we
Take
got a motion
second.
from Logan.
Okay.
Okay, we got a second here. So that's a roll call vote. Mindy?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Logan?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. We're going to check you up on the next one. Oh, you do have 2026.
Okay, now we're going to be talking about the culinary water and pressurized irrigation, two separate documents.
Just before you get going, I think, didn't we had people come back, right? Do we have that motion or that ordinance ready? So, I mean, you're welcome to keep going. with
No,
this.
no, that's what I was asking. If you okay with that, Brad? Okay. I know that you're just enthralled to be here tonight, so.
So again, the changes that were made, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, and we did what you were asking. Underneath the new section, subsection 5, we added back in duplex or twin home. And then we took out in subsection 6, strictly for familial gain from the production and consumption of eggs only, and there shall be no sale or income resulting from the keeping of chickens. That was removed. And then when it comes to the number of chickens, 6 for less than 11,999 square feet, and then from 12,000 to 15,999 or 15,999, 10 chickens, and then anything over 16,000 square feet, 16 chickens.
Is that in harmony with what we talked about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I will entertain a motion then for approval of that ordinance.
Still has the same number, right? All right.
And is it amending the code, or is this isn't a whole code rewrite, correct?
It's an amendment,
Okay.
yes.
I'll motion to approve ordinance number 04-2026, amending Springville City Code Section 3-7-801, hen chickens for egg production allowed, to clarify the number of hens that may be kept on any residential lot.
I will second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. It's a roll call vote. Mike?
Yes.
Logan?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Mindy?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Mayor, just,
Yes.
there was at least 2 people, but do you still want staff to go through and make some changes to Title 11 and kind of bring that into harmony more with Chapter 3 or Title 3?
Not if we're gonna, I don't want to go through the whole rezoning process just to change that. My question was, can we take something out to fix this, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, what we could do too is when we run another ordinance through, we could just add this as part of that ordinance when we go to planning
You know,
commission.
I mean, actually, it will definitely change as we do the zoning ordinance updates here in a
That's
couple
correct.
of months.
yeah, so that's fine.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
we can do
Yeah,
it
that's
then.
fine.
You
We can
okay
do
with
that.
waiting for that?
Yes.
Okay, okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Were we able to thank everybody who put input in? Because there was a lot of
There was a
public
lot.
input,
Yeah.
and it's appreciated.
So this is going to come across wrong, and it's not true. But I'm kind of like the chicken hater, but not really, because I've had chickens from Mapleton in my yard, and it's bad. So I have a little bit of a bias, but I will say this: it was nice to be able to get emails. We got more emails on this than I have in 6 years in relationship to raising any utility fees or property taxes combined. So by multiples. So I just, I hope you feel that you have been heard. I hope that we appreciate it. There were things that I actually listened to and read, and I thought, yeah, that's probably true. So we appreciate the input. This is part of the democratic process. If you don't like what happened tonight, you can run and sit in this chair and get paid lots of dollars. You're welcome to do it. We do our very, very best, and we try really hard because we try to represent you as citizens. We are not going to agree on everything, and that's okay. Some people have this view in our society that you don't agree with me, you're evil. That is not the case. That should never permeate itself here in the city of Springville. We are above that. We're better than that. We see people do it, and it's very demeaning. And I think it's inappropriate in a society that lives amongst each other. We have to get along. We have to get along. And just because you don't like your neighbors doing something, that's okay. There's an element of tolerance to it. And if it's annoying, come and voice your opinion, and we'll do our best to listen to that. And we may agree and we may disagree. And if we disagree, please understand that we're trying to do our very, very best. So we appreciate you being involved in the process. We're honored to have you here, and we're grateful for it. Anybody else want to say anything? I've just kind of rambled, so.
No, I completely agree with you. I've actually kind of had fun reading the emails and responding to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been educational for me. I was thinking about getting chickens at one point. Now I'm not going to get any, but
I have one chick at my house, and she's really cute. All right, sounds good. Thank you very much for doing that. And Laura has left, so we just, again, thank her for it. Okay, Brad, you're up.
Not a single one.
Not one.
Yes.
Okay.
Did.
So, starting over here, we're in this part of the presentation here, we're going to be talking about culinary water master plan and pressurized irrigation master plan. And the reason being is because as we assemble that impact fee, we have some areas in the community that have secondary or pressurized irrigation, others that don't. And so we're combining those, and you'll understand as we get through the presentation. So we'll still have to, once I get through, you'll probably have to have 2 public hearings, 2 openings for each separate document, but the presentation is together just so it's not confusing, okay? So again, we've been through this with the utility board, the planning commission. There was a city council work session on this, and today, on March 3rd, hopefully we'll be adopting these 2 master plans, impact fee facilities plans, and the impact fee analyses. So going again, and this is for the help of the public, the master plans is a study of the city's, in this case, drinking water system and the pressurized irrigation and the water use that they have. So we establish, again, levels of service. We project the growth. We look at the assets we have in the community right now, whether it's pipelines, tanks, water wells for culinary, or storage facilities like the Bartholomew Pond for the pressurized irrigation. That's our main water source for that. So we look at those different assets that we have. And then in the case of culinary water and pressurized irrigation, and we don't have this in sewer obviously, but we look, do we have enough water rights to be able to provide our community both now and in the future? So just like the wastewater collection system, in this case in the water system itself, we run a hydraulic model. So we run the model to see how our system's functioning, and if we have issues in the system, that's something we can take care of. We call them deficiencies. We take care of those through the ratepayer, the rates that our current customers use, right, or are paying to the city. From that, we can formulate those capital projects from the model itself. This is, years ago, we did the 400 South water tank up at the very top of 4th South, right? And so that was one of the things that we did, and that was actually an impact fee project. So it was 100% funded by impact fees. So once we're able to model the system, find the deficiencies, then we look at growth to see what's coming at us from the different developments that are coming at us. We can go through and do the projects. And so in this case, I'm just highlighting this project. It's called 10-2, and this is one of the projects that we have in this area right here, south end of town. And so, for example, this is a transmission pipeline. It's about $3.4 million. It's a 100% impact fee available, which means this pipeline is being built because there's development that's going to be using that pipeline to get into our system. And so it's 100% impact fee eligible. So that's just an example of how we're doing that. You can see others that maybe it's only 12%, and the rest of it is due to part of our community that we just need to fix something or we have a deficiency. Is that understood? Okay. So the same thing with the pressurized irrigation. This is kind of showing our pressurized irrigation system. We have a big pipeline starting just below Bartholomew Pond there, runs all the way out into the west fields. That was something we did back, I think, around 2010, 2011. And so that's our system. So again, we look at the projects too. We have different capital improvement projects, some that might be 100% impact fee eligible, others that are system deficiencies or things that we're just doing as part of our ratepayer capital projects. So in this case, we have this one 16-inch pipe, and it's $1.4 million, 100% impact fee payable. So when we calculate the impact fee cost, we look at the cost and how many ERUs that facility is serving, and then we can go through and find out what the impact fee will be. One of the things we do look at is if we have an existing facility, and it has remaining capacity that can be used by a developer instead of having to build another pipeline, then we can charge that developer, or we can put into the impact fee the excess capacity. So in this case, for example, I think I showed it here, the 4 South pipeline that we put in many years ago, all the way coming down, went all the way to the west side of the freeway. It still has capacity in it, and there's still about $684,000 of impact fee eligible that the developer can go into the impact fee, I guess is the best way to say it. So we look at the existing facilities to see if we have any growth capacity in those. Then we also look at the future facilities, and here's one here that's on State Street in the southern part of the community, and it's 100% impact fee available. And then we also, as part of the impact fee law, is the planning documents that we have to prepare to put these together can be part of the impact fee, because it's the developer that's causing this to make these documents, and they can be pretty expensive at times. So that can be part of the fee itself. So comparing the impact fee right now with the county average, Springville has very low impact fees in water. We're really blessed to have culinary water and a secondary water source for our secondary water. Most of our project would be through wells and springs. And so we're able to keep the cost down for our water and our water rates. These are based on a 10,000 square foot lot and about a 4,000 square foot home. And I'd never say it right. UCHBA, Jeff, what does that mean? That's the homeowners, the Home Builders Association, yeah. So this information here is from the Home Builders Association. I'll just keep it short. And so the county average is about 5,360 for drinking and pressurized irrigation. The recommendation from staff is, because we don't have pressurized irrigation on the east side of the community, the actual impact fee, the maximum allowable impact fee, is actually higher on our east side of the community, because since we don't have pressurized irrigation here, they have to use culinary water, which means we would have to build bigger storage tanks, which costs money for their outdoor water use, right? And so what we've done is we've said, well, we've got the west side of the community where we're using the PI pond and the pipelines out there. And so in the past, and even in this time now, what we would like to do is use the indoor for the entire community for water use impact fee, and the outdoor component, which is actually a little bit cheaper, is $2,305, and I think it's $2,700 or something if you were on this side. We'd like to just have one impact fee on the outdoor component to make it even across the board, east and west side of the community. The cost to that to the city, for example, if you look at all the development that could be here and not paying that $400 or $500 more, we figure it's between $30,000 and $50,000. And so that's something that we've done in the past, in the 2020 impact fees, and when we did the master plans back then we did the same thing. So the recommendation is for the entire community, and I think I've got it here, for the entire community to have the 1266 indoor plus the 2305 outdoor to come to 3571, and you can see that we're still well below the county average.
Okay, questions for Brad? I don't care that we're below the county average. I just want to make sure the information, the data is accurate so that we get the right number, so that we don't impact citizens who really are not affected by the impact of a new development. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and we have the right number.
Right, okay, good.
We've got, we worked with our consultant, and in fact, I think they're in the room here, unless they got tired of chickens. And
So,
Steve Jones is here from Hanson Liz.
thanks, Steve, for being here. So do I need to do this in two separate?
Yeah, and that it's because we have the two separate documents.
Okay, so we're going to do, we'll open up a public hearing for the Pressurized Irrigation Master Plan, IFFP/IFA. Would anyone like to make a comment?
Seeing as there's no public comment, I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
I will second that.
Okay, it's all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. I'll entertain a motion.
I motion that we approve ordinance number 06-2026, adopting the 2026 Springville City Pressurized Irrigation Master Plan and Capital Facility Plan, Impact Fee Facilities Plan, and Impact Fee Analysis prepared by Hanson, Allen and Luce Incorporated, and enacting the updated pressurized irrigation impact fees.
I have a motion. Do I
I'll
hear a
second.
Second, a roll call vote. Logan?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Karen? Mindy?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Okay, we need to open up for a public hearing in relationship to the Drink and Culinary Water Master Plan, IFFP/IFA. Anyone like to make a comment?
Seeing no one coming forward, I motion we close the public hearing.
Second?
Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 07-2026, adopting the 2026 Springville City Drinking Water Master Plan and Capital Facility Plan, Impact Fee Facilities Plan, and Impact Fee Analysis, prepared by Hanson, Allen and Luce Incorporated, and enacting the updated drinking water impact fees.
Okay, I have a motion.
I will second that.
Okay, it's a roll call vote. Mindy?
Yes.
Karen? Yes. Mike?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Logan?
Yes.
Very good. Is there any other business that we need to talk about? Okay. Kim's had an assistant. We didn't introduce. I should have introduced. I'm sorry. My fault. Would you like to introduce her, Kim?
This is Natalie Peterson. She is our deputy recorder, and she's here training on what all happens in the council meetings.
And this was her first experience in the council meeting that I know of, and she got the chickens. That's right.
I wanted to give her a real experience.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry I didn't do that sooner. I apologize to you, Natalie.
We'll see if she's still working tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your comment and for your emails.
Yes.